I'm new to it. I've never heard of this map called Dust2. I've only seen it. No, I'm kidding. So Dust2 to kick us off. Nice to have a little bit of variety in our life, and we're going to enjoy that as we get straight into this one. On the pistol on the T side will be Copenhagen Wolves, who will be coming in full of confidence from their game against Astana. And we'll see what they've got to offer here as the T side make their way down towards mid. Nico's gone straight through the double doors there, and MBK did spot someone coming up along catwalk, but won't have seen the three players going through mid. The smoke will help, and those three going to make a move in towards B. They open up the fragging. It's going to be Smith that goes down as they push forward now. Dupree has frag number one. It's not going to be followed up with frag number two, though. MBK comes in, and bomb goes down for the T side, who quickly escape, and you can see Nico is way out there, and they'll happily bait two players into the tunnels and then massacre them. A frag apiece here. Fetish going to see action now coming through the top, and this is going to be surely round number one, maybe two. Copenhagen Wolves, the last man standing is Scream. He's won against a firing squad, and it's done. Copenhagen Wolves, round number one.
It's a nice round by Copenhagen Wolves. They simply just went out of middle and took over the B bomb side fairly easily. Verygames had a bit of an unlucky strategy themselves to counter that, but good call by Copenhagen Wolves. And I mean, once they got set up in that bomb site, there was almost no way Verygames were able to retake it. They had such a good crossfire in the B tunnels, and like you said, it was a massacre.
We've seen a lot, of course, of Verygames over the years. For you, what's your opinion on Copenhagen Wolves? Who do you like?
I think Nico's the start of the team, but like we said so many times during the last few days, I mean, these guys went through roster changes very recently, so it's still a little too early to just kind of say how good they are. We don't really know their ceiling yet.
We saw what roster changes did to SK. I cast that game against Reason, and boy, oh boy, there isn't a polite word for how bad that was for SK.
Yeah, that was no good. Luckily, I did not see it, but I heard the result, and I was shocked.
Verygames have coming through the smoke. 4 Danes who open up, and Smith will go down. And Scream will say no more. 3 frags coming in for Verygames. They've taken out Device almost as well. He will get 1 kill before going out, and this is going to be return fire from Verygames. 1-1, and guns for the 2 who get out of there.
Yeah, and 2 kills for both. Scream, whom I just said has had a lot of problems this tournament, and Existence, who actually is one of the top 5 pistol players this tournament, which is very, very different than what he usually does for the team. So he's had a good tournament so far, and very nice win by Verygames, who seem to be winning quite a lot of second rounds after last pistol rounds.
Now, talking with Fetish earlier, he said there's really no love lost between, or there's really no issue between him and Existence, but we'd love to see a bit of a rivalry as Smith massacres them with the FAMAS going in towards that B tunnel. There's Dupree with frag number 1 for Copenhagen Wolves, but that's going to be all they got. And it'll be 2-1 for Verygames. Remember, best of 3. If you've been watching through the group stages and seen only best of 1, we've got 3 maps to contend with here. And Copenhagen Wolves, as Thorin said, will be more than chuffed to have got themselves Dust2 as their starting game. But they're going to have to do something different now. We can't exchange rounds. This is exactly how Verygames Complexity started.
Yeah, this is a bad way to start, especially because Copenhagen Wolves are playing on the much easier side of the map. Although they had 2 different players, Copenhagen Wolves actually came back from a 2-13 deficit against NIP to win 16-14 about a month ago at EMS1 Finals as Fetish goes down at the hand of Smiths. And that's especially bad for the Danes because Fetish is the in-game leader of their team, so that might affect how they play this round.
Scream's going to push up with that smoke. And Dupree on the other side has dropped Existence, and here goes Scream. He lands the frag and will get it onto... so Dupree's going to come across to the catwalk there. And I tell you what, the Copenhagen Wolves side seem a little bit lost with that frag coming in on B. They didn't... I think they were going to use Dupree to just bait A, and now he's going to have to fall back and get into the fight, which is going to come through the mid-double gates. Verygames can, with a man advantage, just sit back and say, come at me, boys.
Yep, and that is exactly what they're doing. They know there's no reason for them to take risks. Dupree hits a nice headshot on NBK. There's still Shoxy hiding in the site.
Yeah, they didn't know it, and Shox opens up. Oh! quickly shut down, though. Nico's going to get the bomb, money in the bank, and it's a 2-on-2 now after plant. Suddenly, the tables have turned, and Scream's going to come walking in through the smoke as the two players on that bomb are both retreated up towards it. And Verygames are going to sandwich it from right and left, and it's going to be Smith who opens fire first. Nico picked off. Now Device gets himself into a 1v1, having dispatched of Scream, and it's him versus Smith for the plant, neither with full health. It'll be a first to see him wins here as Smith jumps up around the corner. Nico knows where he is and can't get him. And those could be the moments that define this game.
They very well could, and I mean, they likely will. That was another big clutch by Verygames, and they just seem to be winning these close rounds. I mean, the save round they won, somewhat close, but sort of the same thing. Even earlier today, it seems like Verygames are just getting the close rounds, aside from the COL game, where obviously the Americans just came out on top.
A lot of American love.
Well, I got to give him credit.
What's interesting is, in that round, Copenhagen Wolves came back from a 2-on-4. They were down on that one. Once they got that bomb plant, or just as they were entering that A site. But anyway, we're going to see some action here, and it's going to be Scream getting free frags galore. 3 men down in the B tunnel. Smith has been added himself a frag, and Nico, last man standing, is going to be as much of a nuisance as he can. But
there's not going to be a whole lot with the P250 against Smith's M4. And that makes it 4-1 for Verygames early on the counter-terrorist side. And considering they started by losing the pistol round, that's a very, very strong start.
Okay, it's gotten quiet in this one for Copenhagen Wolves as well. We're very vocal, having won that one round, but now all quiet down there. The Verygames side, naturally French, they're quiet. They'll only kick up a fuss when you kick them. And we see Verygames putting Shoxy down on long A. Now, putting Shox down on long A, is that a gift or a curse? Because you isolate one of the best players all the way potentially on the other side of the map.
I think it's good because it's probably going to shut down that part of the map.
That's the gift.
Yeah, that's a good thing. But at the same time, if Copenhagen Wolves keep attacking other spots, he's not going to see much action there until the retake portion of the round.
We're about to see him in action here. Device lying in wait for him. Flashed and retreats back.
And it's actually a bad position for Verygames because now both Shox and Existence are stuck on top of the A site. So if Copenhagen Wolves choose to attack A, they're just going to wrap all around them, and they're just going to be stuck in the middle. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Shoxy here.
Shox falling back in towards that site, but he's a man that can. As the Wolves begin their assault in, and Des Dupree picking off Shox, get that first frag, and this could clear out. Dupree says, I'll have one more, and it's only Screams and MBK left standing against 5 Danes. And Dupree can't spy anyone because they're getting out of there. Scream has dropped Fetish, but he's the only man standing, and he will just look for exit frags as he makes his way up towards B. 4-2 this will be, and Copenhagen will stop the rot.
Yep, the Scream is trying to connect on Zipnik's, not going to happen. Copenhagen Wolves win a very convincing round there. Four members of their team survived. Nico gets to keep his up. And that's just a very good round to win for Copenhagen Wolves, because now we always talk about the money system. And now even if they were to lose this round, they would still have money to buy. So it takes some of the pressure off from this round. And for their sake, I hope they can just get going now and start stringing together some rounds, because you really don't want to give Verygames too many rounds on the easier side of the harder side of the map. Excuse me.
Orp comes down from Nico right as Smith was trying to line up his own shot, and Copenhagen Wolves set the agenda for this one. Existence has the auto sniper to try and level the playing field, though, as he will be over on the other side of the map. But Copenhagen Wolves with a bit of wind in their sails. Let's see whether they can convert that into a third round of the game for them. Existence auto sniper does take care of long A, though, and you can pretty much just sit and fire on in towards those double doors and be quite happy. And that's what they've done. They've left the rest of the players up at A. Copenhagen Wolves do like going A. They've won 2 rounds, one of which was in A. The other was a pistol push through mid up towards B. And Shox is in those double doors. Rotating his positions quite a lot, actually. Last round out, he was in long A. And Zipnix is...
It actually looks like Copenhagen Wolves will choose to attack the B bomb site. Whether that's through middle or through the B tunnels, that's still unknown. But they will be attacking the B bomb site once Nico has faked A. Looks like Nico's also going for a peek here. We'll see if he's going to see Existence or if the Belgian in-game leader is just going to fall back far enough that he's not going to get spotted.
Fetish picks himself up the frag onto B, and that should open it up for them. They're going to move the bomb in any second now. It's on the site, and here goes Shox to try and retake. As he pushes in, he has 2 players for company. Make that 1 player for company, and now it'll be him and Existence to hold on. And Shox decides even he can't pull this one off. And Existence retreats. Shox just going to do as much aggravation as he can to try and keep them in that site. Will go down in the end to Dupree, picking his head over the wall and getting himself the kill. There's that auto sniper though, finishing things off. So second round in a row for Copenhagen Wolves. They're making sure that this is still a contest.
Ooh. Yep, Existence trying to save that up. I mean, the auto sniper, we'll see if Nico's still going to jump in.
Yeah, I don't think he feels so confident now.
No, not anymore. Oh, Zipnix was so close to still killing Existence through the middle. That was basically 1 more second, or if he just hit that first shot, he would have been able to take him out. So,
if you've never played CS, why is it so important to lock out someone with an auto sniper at the end of the round? Talk to me, explain to me like I'm 5.
Well, I mean, you just don't want him to have that auto sniper in this round, because Verygames are otherwise saving. No one else on the team has purchased anything. So if Existence has an auto sniper, especially considering how strong that weapon is, he can actually all by himself turn this round around in Verygames' favor.
Let's see whether he's going to do this, because he's going to see some action. Good nade forces him back, and they just got 1 player down in long A. I thought they were going to leave him in there, actually, but they didn't. Scream on the other side of the map has got himself a frag. The Copenhagen Wolves are down 2 men here on what is a save round. This has not gone the way of the Wolves, as Nico sits in long A, looking for Existence, going to usher in the rest of the players here, and Existence just falling back a little bit will nullify the positioning of that AWP, but Fetish's headshot will help things out as well. Shox hasn't been able to get going here on Dust, has been picked off, and we're on to a 3 versus 3. 5 weapons in play.
Scream has picked up an AK, obviously. And this could actually be very dangerous for Copenhagen Wolves. Verygames have 3 people defending the area where they're going to be attacking, but Scream just rotates at the wrong time. See what Existence can do here and get taken out.
Oh, what a shot from Nico! Sorry to interrupt, but a beautiful hit. He's not able to follow that up with a second one. He's getting pinned down in that bomb site, but that auto sniper was about to nullify the bomb carrier. And
that was another 6 shot there by NBK.
It's all on Nico, and he does deliver with the help of Fetish. The round, and Copenhagen Wolves was pricey for them, but they got there in the end.
Yeah, that was just, I mean, but that's a perfect example of why you want to take that auto sniper out of Existence's hands, because all of a sudden you go from getting a winning anti-eco round where you're not supposed to lose a single player or like 1 at most. You go from there to actually having to fight for a round. You're down to just 2 people yourself, and that also hurts Copenhagen Wolves' money situation. If they were to start losing rounds now, they might potentially have to save a lot sooner than they would have otherwise.
Orp on Orp here as Smiths has one for the Franco-Belgian side, as Dupree will push up. And Spy, nothing. Copenhagen Wolves, very patient move is here on dust2. We've not seen anything really quick or aggressive from them. They watch every alley. They make no mistakes as a result. The strat is played to the book. And it'll be Dupree that thinks about going up, but doesn't. Flashes go in. Dupree now is... well, they are committed to coming along here, as Nico will move that bomb site up along that catwalk. Device is the man who's covering the back from long A. And here we go with Copenhagen Wolves ready to make their move. Dupree now will get his eyes through the smoke and see nothing at that A site. All the Verygames players were down on the bottom level. They've now come back. Dupree will have told them that. And here we go. It Shox at long A to get some action. Dupree has finally made an entry. Existence down to 10 HP after that grenade, and will have to fall back. He gets picked off in the end by Zipnix. Nico, the Orp is out. Verygames have their 2nd frag on the board as MBK combined, and it'll be Dupree to have to go big here on this round, and he's not going to. MBK's got his number, and Device is the last man standing, and isn't standing anymore. MBK, big round then. Picked up, I think, 4 frags.
Yeah, not only were those did he get 4 frags, but the fashion in which he got those 4 frags was very impressive. He was playing a very tough spot by the CT spawn ramp where you can only see the very tip of the head of the terrorist coming into the site. He got 2 kills there, and then he had to peek the AK player on top of the A site with just his P2000. He still managed to take him out. Very impressive play by NBK there.
5-4 Verygames lead against Copenhagen Wolves here on dust2 in the best out of 3 round of 8. Smith pushes into the B tunnel, gets himself the kill on the Fetish, shuts down that in-game leader, and sets the agenda for Verygames to follow up with Shox' famous headshot on the device.
Dupree replies there through the door. Scream doing a lot of damage. And it's a 4v3 right now. Smith's very low on health, but advantage still on the side of Verygames.
They're going to leave that bomb in the B tunnels, and we just see Nico. Oh, Shox coming around from the back with that AK, gets Zip Nixon. Beautiful position now for Verygames. They do have that AWP to contend with. If they can get the frag onto Smiths, then that would open up the B site, but they've in fact come back towards double doors with that bomb. But you feel Nico's going to have the round of his life here. And they're going to run out of time soon if he doesn't move quickly.
I think they're going to walk out of middle doors. Dupree's going to be looking towards B, and Nico's going to try to pick the player spotting middle from A, and I think it's going to be Existence. Nico will likely be able to get that pick too if Existence just peeks him, but it looks like he's actually in hiding now, so it's going to work out well for Verygames. And
Scream was watching down
might get picked, but I think he's spotted the terrorist now in the middle, so it's going to be hard for Copenhagen Wolves to get through into the site.
Oh, no scope, lovely
nice
stuff from Nico, going big. Dupree's in the site, he's got to go in there as well. He does, he's putting the bomb down, coming through the double doors any second now. Will be some angry Frenchman as Dupree makes his way back. He's between a rock and a very hard place, and he comes out fighting, but he can't quite get the final frag. Existence will do it, and Verygames, after picking up a kit, surely.
Existence looking for that op, I believe, since he already has a kit. I would assume, no?
Does have a kit. I'm trying to work out what he was doing.
I think he was looking for an op. There we go.
Here's that no-scope that just changed everything.
That was a really nice shot by Nico. Once more, I mean, he just had so many of those this tournament. He's such a good opper and just gets a lot of those tough kills. And, you know, that's, like you said round of his life, but he's such a good player. That's not even a round of his life. That's not even the round of the match. That's just another round.
I was saying he was going to have the round of his life had he won it.
Yeah.
Might even whipped out a sensational. You
Yeah,
never
but
know.
I mean, but that was actually really close. You know, the last 2 counter-terrorists almost lined up. Dupree was really close to taking out Existence as well.
There's that auto sniper, and Shox will mow them down as well. Say goodnight, Copenhagen Wolves. This is going to become 7-4. From your perspective, if you're the strat caller or if you're Fetish at this moment in time, what are you saying to Copenhagen Wolves? How are you keeping them fired up? How are you motivating them?
I actually feel like they're a team that don't really get too down on themselves. I think they're pretty good about that. So I actually think they don't have a problem with that. They just need to keep working one round at a time. I mean, they've had a lot of close rounds. They just need to get on the better side of those.
See what they can change. What we've seen, though, is expensive weapons doing damage for Verygames. Seems simple, but the usage of that auto sniper has been... we'll just cut our thought there as Verygames get themselves an exchange of 2 for 1, and it's going to be Scream pushing back to try and reclaim that B site. As they go down, Scream's just going to have to wait for some reinforcements. The bomb is slowly moving towards the site. Reinforcements coming, in fact, for Verygames. Coming through the tunnels will be number 4. That's MBK, who's having a great game. And Shox picks off the bomb carrier with that grenade, and that leaves Fetish with a lot of work to do because he's only got Nico a long way away with that AWP. Nico comes in to help now, but he's too late. And Copenhagen Wolves lose another round.
Yeah, I mean, only so much you can do when Verygames are playing well. Obviously, there's always a couple of shots that could turn the round completely around. If someone hit a shot, they maybe missed, things like that, but Verygames are just playing really good Counter-Strike right now. We see Scream chipping in. I think it's probably his best game so far at DreamHack, which is odd because he has been such a consistent player throughout his stay in Verygames. So, I mean, this is actually alarming for NIP because I was thinking earlier that if Scream has a really bad tournament and doesn't pick up, I actually think NIP would possibly even be favorites in the match because they really need his firepower to match that of Forrest and Get Rights. But if Scream is already heating up now, That's spells trouble for NIP.
Well, let's see whether they can pull it off. Verygames in the driving seat here on map 1. There's a save round in, not a save round, or a partial buy for Copenhagen Wolves, with only 3 left in the half, this being one of them. Smith picks himself up the frag onto Zipnik. Verygames do lose Shox, who's struggled to make his usual phenomenal impact on this round. Device gets himself one, Fetish helps himself to another, and the Copenhagen Wolves are ready to roar. As here we go, 4 players on 2, bomb planted, Verygames coming from catwalk, trying to open up the Copenhagen Wolves side here with just sure blunt tactics pushing in, and there's as blunt as it gets from Scream, but isn't going to be enough. Copenhagen Wolves pick up their 5th round of the game.
And they really needed that too. They really need to get back into the game at the end of the half, get a couple rounds here and there, maybe end up with 7, even 6, and then win the pistol round, and all of a sudden, once again, it's anyone's game. That's how quickly matches turn around in Counter-Strike.
So, 8-5 to Verygames. Nico unable to connect through the smoke, and Copenhagen Wolves will push 2 players in towards those B tunnels. There are 2 waiting for them from Verygames, and this is all lovely stuff until Shox says, you know what, I want to be big in this game. Smith's just kind of poke his head in towards B, doesn't see anything in those tunnels, and is going to get met by Fetish, but Fetish goes down at the hands of Scream, and Zipnik comes in, and 2 frags for Verygames, 2 very bold pushes from their AWPs, and it'll be MBK coming back through spawn now to try and make something happen for them. Scream with the AWP from Nico is going to hold down B as he lies in wait and gets himself another frag. It was onto Nico, sorry, I'm not sure where I got that one from, as it'll be MBK to come in on the Zipnik, and Copenhagen Wolves just running out of bodies now. 1 on 3 for Device. Knows there's someone there. He's going to get the first. No, he's not. MBK does it. Help me analyze that one.
I don't know what to say. I mean,
it's your job to know what I missed on that one, Lopez.
What you missed was Scream getting kills once again. I mean, actually, I thought that was a bit of a mistake by Verygames, because once Smith started walking into tunnels with an off first, I actually felt like Scream should have maybe cleared that close corner first, and that's why Smith died for no reason. But then Scream just picked up that op and just held B all by himself. And even though he didn't get many kills, he still delayed them long enough for rotation.
He's going to have himself some kills here. 1, 2. Not going to get the 3rd. It's Nico who will stop the rock, but Verygames nevertheless in dominant form. And it will take us to the final, or to half-time at 10-5 to Verygames. And that's quite the response they were looking for after losing to Complexity.
Yeah, and quite the response after losing the piss round. You know, the Copenhagen will started this half up 1-0. If we could go back in time and just go tell Fetish right now that after they won the pistol round, like, you guys shouldn't celebrate because you're going to only get 5 rounds this half, there's no way he'd believe me.
So, was that Copenhagen Wolves' loss, or was that Verygames' win?
I actually think that was more of a Verygames win. I mean, Copenhagen Wolves played relatively well. They just weren't winning any of the close rounds, and I think that's because of the brilliance of Verygames. We just saw everybody playing well. Scream finally back to his normal level, topping the scoreboard, getting a lot of kills for Verygames, and you know, I've said this before, when a very good team is playing very well, they're next to impossible to beat.
T-side for Verygames, do you expect it to be more of the same? Rinse, lather, repeat?
Pretty much. I mean, we know how Verygames likes to play. They like to take the slow, methodical approach, not take too many risks. I mean, I wouldn't take too many risks if I'm up 10-5 after the harder side. And on T-side, you can kind of just grind out rounds. You just wait for the Copenhagen Wolves to make some mistakes, and you get a couple picks here and there. Existence makes a couple good calls, and that should be it.
If someone's going to pull Copenhagen Wolves out of this situation and get them right back into the game, who's it going to be?
Dupree and Nico, I think. Dupree has been very good this match. He hasn't gotten a lot of help from his team. He's on Nico hit a couple of big shots, especially on dust2 CT side. An Opera can really make a huge difference if he starts getting entry kills all around the map and just rotating really well. So if Nico's team win the pistol round and he gets hot early, this could still be a very close game. But they really need the pistol round.
They need the pistol round. We say it time and time again. And for Copenhagen Wolves, is this what you would expect? I mean, you made a long introduction and prediction on HLTV. Is this what you would expect? They're playing well, they're doing all right, but Verygames are just that much above them.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Also, Copenhagen Wolves, like I said, there's still a somewhat new roster. They went through a couple changes. So, you know, if they were given a little more time, they'd probably get closer. The gap would be a little more narrow. But they're still playing against the world's best team, and, you know, that's just the fact that you can't get away from.
You just can't get away from the fact that Verygames are very good. See what I did there? That's a pun you can take to the bank. As we follow Scream pushing through in towards the B tunnels, and Dupree darts back, and Copenhagen Wolves will be desperate to repeat their pistol round success of the first half, only to then hope to convert it a little heavier, as Dupree is spotted in CT spawn looking through those double doors. He's not getting any information himself though. He's got nothing to report back to base to say where they are. And being on the B side of that, that's left 3 CTs up at B. 2 men now of the T side ready to make their entry in towards A. In fact, that may have been a bait itself, as the terrorist side sit in those double doors, make a lot of noise, and now commit to go into the B tunnel. So 2 in at B at the moment, waiting for them. The rotation from Dupree put him all the way back in towards T-spawn, where he will see action any second now, and the bomb is making its entry in towards the site. There's a fight in T-spawn at the same time as this. It's screaming existence to get it. Dupree has gone down, and Verygames find themselves in a great position. They've got themselves 3 frags on the board for only 1 loss, and this is Vedish to try and save the day. He can't. Existence is going to go down to Zipnix, and he has got to go 1 on 2 to keep Copenhagen Wolves in this half, or in this map, as he and his 21 points of health are going to have to deliver 2 headshots here against 2 players who do not want to be seen, do not want to be found, and if they are, they're going to come out shooting. MBK having a great game.
Yeah, and so is Scream, who just got a triple kill once again, by the way. He's topping the scoreboards with, I believe, 19 kills right now. And like I said, it looks like he's back. Scream's back, guys.
Scream's back, and if you talk about it, you know, we've said maybe he didn't have a great game against Complexity, but
against any of the teams so far.
Only certain players, there are only so many kills you can get. There's a fixed number. And we've seen Shox have to play a more quieter role simply because Scream is now delivering all the kills. No?
No.
Don't buy it?
Scream simply had weak games earlier, but good thing for Verygames, they seem to be back to, or Scream rather seems to be back to his normal level now.
4 frags for Verygames as they look to convert out this pistol round, and they do so. That's how it's done, and it is 7 rounds, the difference, and growing. As you spy the Verygames players on your screen, they don't show any emotion. They don't show any confidence that this is a $250,000 tournament and that they're playing not only for that, but they're also playing for their next contract.
Yeah, that's something the studio brought up earlier. I mean, obviously, if they were to win this tournament, they could probably leverage more money. But at the same time, something to think about is there's only so much money to be given to a Counter-Strike team. So having a Counter-Strike team is very expensive because you have to pay 5 people. You have to pay for 5 people's travels. So I actually think short of them just bombing out like before the NIP game, I don't really think it makes a big difference in what they're going to get because their market value is way up there and they're probably going to get a pretty good deal. In fact, I believe NBK already said they have their things set for them pretty much. So I think it's only a matter of time and just waiting out till the new year when their deal with Verygames ends.
Do you think they'll be following your footsteps to wear the blue of EG?
I actually said earlier that would make a lot of sense because Verygames are a Razer-sponsored team and so is EG.
Here we go. Nico gets himself frag number 1. It's going to be Scream that goes down as Copenhagen Wolves try to stop this rot and try to claw their way back into this dust2 map as Smiths lead the charge in towards that A site. It will be Smiths with his AWP to look down long A and have all the time in the world to get himself the kill onto Fetish. And on the backside though, Dupree has got himself a kill and we're up to a 2v2 and what looked like a very good position for Verygames has suddenly become a little more daunting, but Zipnik's got his all to do with that FAMAS. 1 on the top of the bomb site, 1 now walking over the top of him on catwalk. You have got that bomb. They are moving into the site. Zipnix has been able to move up close to Personal. Jumps up, gets the headshot. Lovely stuff. MBK last man standing now. Smith's last man standing with only 6 points of health, but the AWP, it's 1 shot and he connects. And Copenhagen Wolves get themselves around and just claw on to this game.
What a NBK asking, really? What a good play by Zipnix. I actually think that's a bit of a mistake by NBK because so often there's a guy jumping up and down in CT spawn, and the mid-air shots are actually not that bad in CSGO, but very good play by Zipnix. Even that third kill that wasn't shown in the highlight that he got earlier was a very nice headshot.
So, Verygames quickly avenged. Zipnix is down. And Nico in his AWP unable to go to work on long A, and it really was all set up for him. He had a lot of players coming his way. Fetish has got action coming too. Stream's going to go down, and after all of Zipnix's hard work, it's all gone to pot. And
Nico has left the game. We'll see if there's a problem of some kind potentially, as the last two Copenhagen Wolves members go down, and you know that joy of Zipnix's clutch was really short-lived, because right now Copenhagen Wolves are broke.
So let's go back whilst we lose. We've got him back on the server actually. We've got Waldo on the server, who I'm assuming is Nico.
Where's Waldo? On the
there
server. On the server.
Let's go back to the fantasy football that is where are Verygames going next. We talk about them going blue and going to EG. What are their other options? Because it's easy to say, very good team, they should go to EG.
Honestly, I'm not so sure, because I feel like they're not going to join a team that already has a Counter-Strike team. Like, I don't see them replacing anybody. So it seems to me like the natural option is someone who isn't in Counter-Strike picking up a Counter-Strike team. And obviously, those are some of the big organizations backing games like StarCraft or League of Legends and Dota. And that's not what I'm an expert on at all. Like, I don't really know about those teams at all. So to me, EG just seems like someone that could be a possibility. Despite my ties to EG, I actually don't have any inside knowledge. So
come on, what good are you to us?
So you shouldn't probably post on forums and talk about this, or make like a big deal about this becoming true because I said it. But it does make sense on some levels, because they are like the main Razer team in Counter-Strike, and I'm fairly sure that EG probably has one of the better Razer sponsorships. So it would actually make a lot of sense, because I assume Razer is paying almost all of their bills anyways in Verygames. I'm not sure who else. It's not like I doubt the server company's paying for a lot of it. I'm sure it's Razer mostly. So it's probably one of those cases where Razer is actually going to dictate a lot of where Verygames is going to go.
What about a more historic team who currently don't have a top CS team? Mouse Sports, they have a CSGO team, but they haven't been able to progress much here.
A CSGO team.
SK, they have a CSGO team, but it's not been the smooth sailing of old SK. Could you see them going a little more controversial and just saying, right, let's buy some success?
It's very possible, but I actually think that Verygames are smart enough to know that a lot of teams struggle quite a bit after changing their hardware, or to be more specific, their peripheral sponsor. It's actually somewhat hard after years and years of using some mouse or some company's gear to just change to a completely new one. And I believe Verygames have had the Razer sponsorship for a long time. Like, those guys have been backed by Razer for as long as I know, so I really doubt they want to change what they play on. And I mean, there's no reason to. Why would you if you're the best in the world? You just want to stick to your guns, and that means playing for an organization that is sponsored by Razer. And the thing is, if you couldn't get one, then you'd go somewhere else. But I just don't see a shortage of offers for Verygames out there.
It's at that moment that we'd like to thank SteelSeries for their sponsorship of the CSGO tournament here at DreamHack 2013. We do have some form of technical issue inside the game. I'm looking over to BSL, or BLS as I like to call him now, for any support, but he's just playing with his hair. He's not really...
By the way, just to tie this back into Counter-Strike and SteelSeries, this is actually when, if I'm SteelSeries, I want to do everything I can to sign Verygames.
And I've had communications with those sides, and they've just been like, we want to get such and such a team to pull them over so we have dominance within that game.
Yeah.
That's how the industry works.
Yeah, of course.
The peripheral sponsors want the top teams, and they want to lock out games.
Yep. So that is for sure the case. And if I'm still serious, Verygames is that one team that I really want to sponsor now, who I already don't sponsor.
Yeah, most definitely. So 13-6, and we're going to get ourselves back into this one as Nico has rejoined, and we're staring down a almost GG scenario. It's going to be a safe round here for the CT side. They're going to have to win almost every round at least, with little exception if they actually want to take this one now. They didn't put up much of a fight there. So Verygames
14-6 in favor of Verygames. Very, very comfortable spot for the French-Belgian side. Not much money on Copenhagen Wolves side at all. Nico has the elephant rifle once again. and 4 FAMASas to go with it. So this round will rely a lot on what Nico can do.
And they've relied on Nico a lot, and he hasn't really had the game of his life. Dupree is the one that's led it for them. Nico 12 frags, not terrible, but
not what you need to beat a team like Verygames.
Let's see. Resistance jumps up on towards Catwalk. Has support from Smiths and Brent as they make their way towards the double doors. As Verygames did move people up on towards Catwalk, but that's mainly just so they could move around the Copenhagen Wolves side, cause some distress, make sure they didn't know where anyone actually was. And coming through the double doors now is going to be Scream. That'll be the AK headshot connecting onto Dupree, one of the danger men of that Copenhagen Wolves side.
By the way, Nico has a scout, not the elephant rifle. So I'll take my word back.
There is that scout on the floor as Scream dispatches of him. MBK continues his fine form, and this is going to be a very methodical massacre from Verygames. 15-6 match point.
By the way, a quad kill from Scream once again. Scream, who is sitting at top of the scoreboard with a score of 28 kills, 6 assists, and only 11 deaths.
And Shock's bottom of the scoreboard.
Yeah.
With 13.
But it's not like he's doing badly.
I know.
Still 13 and 10.
I'm just being sensationalist.
Yeah. I mean,
looking for the tabloid headline.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not sure how often our viewers actually see the scoreboard, so I just wanted to point out that even like everybody on Verygames is doing well. They don't actually have a weak link right now.
Powering in towards the B site, come a Verygames side, knowing that they are one round away from being one map up and one hand in the semi-final. They've got their first frag. They need 4 more to get themselves through here, as MBK will dart back, and they've quickly decided that B wasn't the assault for them. As MBK has made his way all the way back up, he has support in spawn as well from the AWP. That is Scream. Zipnik's just firing in through those double doors, hoping more than anything to slow, maybe to catch one of the French players out, but he hasn't. And we spy Copenhagen Wolves side that until Smiths hit that frag onto device, didn't actually know where the Frenchmen were going. Dupree will now come back. He's going to have to go crazy big and can't. Shock picks him off, and now Zipnik's will come through the double doors. Only Nico survived, or is remaining, and he has an AK for his troubles. Full health, 1 on 3. No pressure, but if you don't do this, it's all over, and it is.
Yep.
16-6 to Verygames. That was not close.
No, that was not close at all. Verygames were simply a far superior team in the first map of the quarterfinal here, a DreamHack winner. And